Streaming this back to South St. Paul so that the people that are there can participate. Okay.
Good to go, sir?
You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, drivers.
Good afternoon.
How are we doing today?
Excellent.
Yeah? Fun, eh?
Right on.
Nice. My name is Paul Skyam. I'm from Olson Carriers. I want to talk to you today about some opportunities for local work throughout the Twin Cities. Are we all in our first week here?
Yep.
Yeah? All right. A lot of information being sent your way. We're always thinking about what we're going to do after we graduate, right? How many of you are looking to stay local, be home every single night? A couple of you? All right. Well, Olson Carriers is a small family-owned operation out of Rosemount, Minnesota. I don't know if you guys know where we are located. We're just south of the refinery on Highway 52. We run about 40 trucks, end-dump operation. Been in the same location for about 37 years. The owner, Tom, bought it from his dad, who got it from his dad, and we've grown it to where it is today. We offer year-round work, flexible hours. This time of the year, you can pretty much set your own start and end time based on the material and the hours of operation of the depots that we go into. You can load material this afternoon and be ready to go after your 10-hour reset, which I'm sure you're going to be learning about as the days go on here. We do pay all of our drivers hourly rates for training. After training, you're paid at a percent of the billable load from the customer. Basically, you can manage your own hours. You can start when you want, end when you want. All of our drivers, let's see, they basically pick their own hours. Most of them start between 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and they're home having dinner, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Based on the scale of the company, after you go through your training, you'll work your way through and up to the scale. Scale for our drivers is 27% of the billable load. Working 11 hours a day, 55 hours a week, you're bringing in just over $55,000 a year. Not too bad to start, your first driving job. A little ways back, I was sitting in the same chair that you guys are sitting in. How many of you are switching career paths? Yeah, just about everybody. I operated hotels across the nation for the last 25 years and decided I'd had enough of the bureaucracy and wanted to just, see the country, and basically threw the towel in and retired from hotels. And now I'm a semi-driver, and I run the operations for the carrier. So I'm out in a truck damn near every day. I'm going into the same locations that our drivers are going into. They have an issue at a depot or with one of our customers. They call me. I talk to the people just about on a daily basis. I know what they're encountering. I know what they're seeing. It's a pretty good deal for our drivers, because they know that I'm out there with them, so they know that I understand what they're going through. Like I said earlier, we have a fleet of about 40 trucks. End-dump operation. You can see one of our trailers dumping into a chute in the ground. This is basically what we do right here. We stockpile dry bulk material. We don't do road construction. We don't get involved in any of the side dumps or anything like that you see tooling down the road. We basically stockpile rock, sand, gravel, a lot of road salt, petroleum coke, coal. Just had a meeting with one of our salt distribution companies yesterday and got some numbers. We're over 30% of the salt that's delivered in the state of Minnesota goes through our boxes. So if you ever need to get to work on a snowy day and you're driving on some fresh road salt or behind a MnDOT truck, that salt probably came from us. We were probably either taking it off the dock. Get to some of the other pictures here. We get loaded over the top with a payloader, or we get loaded right off the barges on the dock. So we get to go into some pretty cool locations that most people don't get to see. We get to go in. We're delivering lime to farms. We're delivering coal to the major universities in the state of Wisconsin. We'll pick coal up in Fox River outside of Green Bay, and we'll bring it to River Falls, Eau Claire. A lot of University of Wisconsin schools are still on coal. City of St. Paul, if you guys have been in downtown St. Paul and you've walked through the skyways and you've been warm in the wintertime, that heat is provided by the coal that we bring to them. They heat all the water that's delivered to the businesses. So if you washed your hands in the restroom or walked through the skyways or been into any business in downtown St. Paul, the heat and the hot water is essentially through the material that we carry. So we do a lot of things that people take for granted. You don't necessarily know the commodities that we haul, but it allows us to turn on a light switch, allows us to have hot water and heat. So it's pretty neat opportunity. I really enjoy it. I think what we do is basically big kids driving in big sandboxes. We get to go into refineries and we're off rivers and off major lakes. We're up in Superior, Wisconsin on Lake Superior every day. We're on Lake Michigan out in Wisconsin every single day. We're down in Davenport, Iowa every single day. With our 2014 or newer tractors, we run Peterbilt's, Freightliners, and Volvos. We've got East End Dump trailers. They're all aluminum. We have a full-service repair shop on our property, along with Fuel and Def. You have an issue with a mirror being loose, you write it up on the board, record it in your ELD, and the shop takes care of it. So when you get in the truck the next morning, it's taken care of. So, like I said, we've got newer equipment. Any major issues that we have, engine, transmission, whatnot, that is taken care of directly at the dealerships, and those dealerships appreciate our business, so they turn the vehicles over on the overnight shift, and they're generally back for us the next day.
Is your fleet automatic or manual?
Yeah, we got 2 pedals in our tractors. We do have 2 2019 Pete 544s that have 13 speeds in them, but those are for drivers that have been with us for 20 and 30 years respectively. Our spec on our tractors isn't manuals with transmission brakes and things of that nature. Just a hell of a lot easier to manage the fleet, and for the fuel economy is a lot better with automatics. Yes, sir.
You require hazmat, sir?
Well, as Bill will probably tell you as you go through the course here, it's probably best for you guys to get every endorsement that you possibly can. I look at education as a growth for myself. When I was sitting in class, Bill's talking about, hey, why not make yourself as employable as possible? Go out and get your doubles, your triples, your tank, your hazmat. You're only doing this for a career, right? Why not invest in yourself? They're gonna talk to you too. You're gonna take a job. You might have 4 in the first year. You might have 5 jobs over the next 3 years. Who knows? You're in school. You're taking the time to get your education to learn how to operate commercial vehicles. What sounds great today might not work out for you tomorrow. And education is one thing that nobody can ever take away from you. I went out and I got my doubles, my triples, my tanker, my hazmat. I've got every endorsement out there. I tested out the manual, so I don't have an automatic restriction. I grew up on a farm, so operating equipment wasn't the challenge for me, or backing wasn't the challenge for me. But when I left the hospitality industry, I enrolled in Interstate, and I looked at it as a full-time job. So you're going to school 6-8 hours a day. I'm used to working 10 to 14 hours a day, so I would take those extra 4 to 6 hours every single day, and I would go on to MnDOT's website and I would press play because they have all the manuals recorded, right? So you can listen to them talking to you through the manual. And I would take the pre-test or the online test for the license exam. I would take those tests on a continual basis until I would score them perfect. You know, I invested in myself. Like I said before, you're only doing this for a job or for a career, right? You know, it's not a part-time job that's just sitting in here and watching the videos and getting through it so you can just take the test and then go out in the world and learn it. That's not my approach on anything. You know, I wanted to, you know, I was all in. So I suggest you do that. Have you guys done your cards yet? Your flashcards? Yeah. Get those done and use them. They honestly help. They help me. Another thing, when you're walking around doing your pre-trip, doing your air brake check, all that kind of stuff, do it with somebody different every single day. You don't want to get stuck with the same person with the same bad habits or the same misinformation, and you're walking around and you're pointing with your bamboo post, your bamboo stick, and the other guy's just do it with somebody else. That way that you're going to learn from what they're doing wrong, and you're going to better yourself off of what they're not doing. You know, you do that with a few different people, you kind of understand, hey, this guy's got his shit together. I can, you know, work with him, and, you know, we're going to help each other get better. But flashcards definitely help. Take advantage of all the material that Interstate has to offer you. There are some websites that you can go onto that help you study or help you take. They're not exactly like the state of Wisconsin and the state of Minnesota tests that you're going to take to get your license, but they're very similar. They're very close, and they have the same content. So it's going to help you when you do. I'm a terrible test taker, and I freeze. I'm sitting at the computer, and it's material I know, and it's ingrained in my brain, and I still have doubts. I'm a terrible test taker, and Bill will probably tell you that he's a terrible test taker too. But if you listen to the material over and over enough, it's going to become muscle memory. You're going to know the response. You're going to say, well, that question is worded weird. I don't necessarily understand the way that it's written, but I understand what they're asking, and then you'll know what the answer is. So take full advantage of everything that Interstate has to offer. You're paying for it. You know, you might as well take advantage of it. Getting back to OCI, we offer a lease to own option as well. So not something that I would recommend you guys doing right out of the chute. But as you get some experience and knowledge and you kind of understand the industry, it's a good way to get you on your way to being an owner operator. We, you know, we're kind of a specialized industry, end-up operation. As you can see, that box is about 40 feet up in the air, and the only thing that's attaching it to the tractor is that ram pushing it up and number 5 axle. Those are the only two things that are touching the ground. Is your 3 feet on the tractor and number 5 axle on the trailer. So you can imagine if there's a big gust of wind, what would happen to these big sails that we got up in the air? They're going to pendulum, right? Did ya? On YouTube or? Yeah. Well, that's just idiocracy right there. I mean, Christ. If you don't know that box is up in the air and you're pulling, that's probably a straight truck, wasn't it? No? Really? Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of stupid crap in my time with OCI and drivers making foolish mistakes and going too fast. You know, there's really no room for error in what we do. You can see what could potentially happen, and obviously from the YouTube videos you have seen what can happen or what does happen. But if you do your due diligence, you understand the complexities that go along with operating heavy equipment, because you are a heavy equipment operator. That trailer has to be on smooth, flat ground. There can't be potholes. There can't be material underneath your tires, because as that box goes up, that tractor comes underneath the trailer. And when it goes down, it's going to push you, right? So that material slides out. And if it all comes out at once, it's going to push the whole combination forward. So I don't know if you've got, we'll just use this one as an example. So as this box goes up, this tractor comes underneath it, right? And the only thing that's set on here are the brakes on the trailer, right? Usually the tractor brakes are loose. So as that goes up, it pulls underneath, material spills out, and then obviously that box has to go down. So when you turn off your PTO and you lower the control for the cylinder, it's going to push your tractor forward like that. And if you have material that's underneath your tires and your potholes, as that's going to go down, it's going to start doing all sorts of wonky stuff to your tractor and trailer combination. That's nothing that we want at all. So you're in a specialized industry hauling for us, but we take care of our drivers. Like I mentioned before, we've got drivers that have been with us for 20, 30 years. That doesn't happen by accident. You come into our yard, you look at, not that you really gauge somebody's wealth by their material stuff, but, we got some damn nice rides in our parking lot. We've got lifted trucks, we've got brand new Camaros, we've got restored Firebirds and Teslas and lifted pickups and nice cars. So the guys aren't scratching by. They're making decent wages. I mentioned 55 grand a year. I've got 6 sleepers that are nosing into the 70s, and actually the biggest earner is an Asian guy about this tall, and he runs 5-6 days a week, and he's probably $74,000 a year. He works 6 days a week. We base everything off of a 5-day work week. I run every Saturday just because I enjoy running and like being out with the guys. They like to give me crap for being a short hauler and all that kind of junk, but I'm out there with them and they enjoy that. I know when you're going to school, you're paying a couple grand to get your CDL. You got all these companies coming in saying, hey, we're going to give you signing bonuses and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Well, just so you know, they're not going to hand you a briefcase full of money and say, hey, thanks for coming on to our company. We really appreciate you. You're going to get chicken, you're going to get fed, a little bit here and a little bit there, and they're going to stretch that out over some time. And some of them actually hold on to your certificates from school, and you're kind of locked in with them. Depends on the company. And I'm not trying to talk down. I'm just saying, when I got out of school, I knew I needed to be home at night. I got a nice little house in St. Paul and a couple boxers waiting for me at home that like to eat food and go for walks and slobber and all that kind of stuff. I can't do that if I'm on the roads, 2-3 weeks at a time.
Yeah, how does that work? I didn't ask that.
We have a no rider policy. I'm sorry? Well, I mean, that's, as long as it would be something that was, prescribed to you and it was required. Well, I don't see a service dog with you right now. But yeah, we're not allowed to bring animals into some of the depots that we go into. When we go into the refinery at Flint Hills, we can't have animals in there. So some of the places that we go into, we can't have animals. They don't allow it. If something were to happen, we don't carry the liability coverage to cover, dog bites and things of that nature. Not that, anything's possible. But we do make exceptions, after drivers have been with us for a while. If you want to bring your wife or your boyfriend, kid, significant other, whatever with you, as long as they're over the age of 18 and it's approved by our insurance company, we do make it an exception every once in a while, but it's an every, once in a while thing. It's not every other weekend kind of a situation or anything like that. But where I was going is, OCI doesn't have a tuition reimbursement program. But what they do offer is weekend work. So if you want to reimburse yourself for the tuition that you paid to come to school here, the way I looked at it when I graduated, well, shit, if I can make a couple $100 every Saturday, within a couple months, I'd be able to pay myself back the money that I put down to come to school. So if you want to work and you want to get after it, you can get reimbursed for your education. Or you can, save it for a down payment on a house or a new car or do whatever. I mean, we spend what we earn, right? We do put on about 400 to 600 miles a day on average. The longer runs are going to pay more just because you're going longer distance. It takes longer to get there. We burn more fuel. There's more wear and tear on the tires and the combinations. You are home every night. Most of our guys, like I said, work 3, 4 o'clock in the morning till 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They're home every night. They could sit and watch Dr. Phil 4 o'clock in the afternoon if they wanted to. Whatever's important to you. Like I said, weekend work is volunteer based. It's not, it's not anything that we require from our drivers, but it is out there. We do provide 85% of the premium for insurance. So we have, what do we have? Blue Cross Blue Shield. Is that right? I believe it is. No, it's Health Partners. I'm sorry, Health Partners. So we pay 85% of the coverage for you. I'm in my early 40s, and I think I pay $67 every 2 weeks for my premium. I get 3 free doctor's visits a year. I get 2 free dental cleanings every year. I'm a pretty healthy guy, so I don't really have to go in for a lot of things. But I think I pay like $9 a quarter for my blood pressure medication, so it's pretty decent coverage for our drivers. That's available to you after 60 days. You get paid holidays after 6 months. So let's see, we're September here, so that puts us to March. So next holiday after March, I think, would be Memorial Day. So you get paid for not working on Memorial Day. You get vacation 2 weeks after 1 year. Supplemental insurance is available after 60 days as well. The biggest thing that was one of the decision makers for me when I was going with OCI was the 401k program that we have. It's a 3-tiered structure. So we have cash balance, 401k, and profit sharing. So based on you, a safe driver, a safe operator, if the rest of the 40 drivers that we have on our fleet are safe and we don't have damages, we don't run cars off road, we're not damaging equipment, the money that we don't spend to repair tractors and trailers, that goes into the cash balance. So if we carry a heavy cash balance, we get a percentage of that back to us as drivers. So you take all 3 of those and you put them together in a big ball, and your contribution from OCI to your 401k program, last year's contribution was 8.25%. 8.25% is almost triple what most other companies put in if you match. So you would have to take 3% of your salary and put it in their 401k, and then it would match dollar for dollar that 3%. You don't have to put $1 into your 401k program. Olson carriers, based on your years of experience and you're vested in the program, 8.25% is put in of your gross. So say you make $55,000 a year, 8.25% of that, around $4,000. Cash money in your 401k program. So if you ever left Olson carriers or retired, that money would be in there for you to take. I operated large full-service hotels across the country for 25 years, and the largest contribution I ever had was the last company that I left, which was Hyatt, and they matched me 4.5% dollar for dollar if I put in 4.5%. So say you take that 4.5% that you would put in for your self-contribution, plus the 8.25% that you're putting in or getting contributed by the company, you're looking at 13.75% of your gross income, and now you're talking about almost $8-9 grand. So there's a lot of good things about working for small companies. You get to work with me, number one. Number two, you get people who actually care about you, have nice equipment. We've got trucks ordered that we're waiting to come in. So we've got, I think, 5 2019s that we've already got this year, and we've got 3 more that'll come in the next month and a half, and we got more coming in after that. So we are constantly turning over our fleet. That's why we're able to offer lease purchase programs, because when we're done, when our tractors get over 500 spins on the odometer, we're either trading them off, or we're going to sell them off, or we're going to have somebody sign on as a lease to own. but all the service work is done on it. Our vehicles every night are checked in, right? So they're checking tire pressures, they're checking fuel or oil levels, they're making sure that you have coolant in there and making sure that everything is the way they need to be. Every other week you get full service from the rooter to the tutor. So they're going through every zerk, they're greasing everything, they're going through all your connections, they're testing your automatic transmission fluids, they're making sure that everything is to spec. So that extends our warranty life, that extends the life of the tractors. And for our drivers, that's awesome because you're not jump seating into another truck while the other one's off getting repaired. You're as a new recruit or a new driver that's coming into OCI, you're assigned a tractor and trailer from day one. So that tractor and trailer is yours. You're not going to have to slip into somebody's not going to slip into yours. You don't have to worry about leaving your GPS in the cab and somebody taking it or losing your shovel or broom or anything like that. Your truck is your truck. You're assigned that from day one. And if anything comes up, we do have a couple spares. If we do need to slide into something, if something catastrophic happens, we do have that option as well. So you're not missing out on a day of work just because your tractor went down. I can't say enough good things about the company. Again, you get to work with me. I talk with all of our drivers on a daily basis. You want to go to a concert on Friday night at 7 o'clock. You're thinking, oh shoot, I got to work until 6. Well, you talk to me and say, hey, can you give me a shorter run for the day? Absolutely. You can basically choose your end time by when you start in the morning. Well, if you want to start at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can still earn a full day's worth of wage and be done early and go and live your life, because that's what's most important. That's family comes first. Your happiness and your job shouldn't control you. It should be something that you enjoy. I mean, I sure do. Yeah.
Do you have a training program?
Absolutely.
Trailers and stuff?
Yep, we do. So when you come on with us, you're assigned a trainer. Our trainers have been with the company for a number of years. They've been in every run of trucking that you can imagine, car haulers, delivering pop, laundry, things of that nature. But they take you through step by step how to load your tractor and trailer, how to balance your axles, how to load, how to unload, basically everything but going forward and backward. That's what you guys are learning here in school, is learning how to drive, learning how to back. Going forward shouldn't be, or backwards shouldn't be the issue. When you come to us, we're not going to teach you how to drive. We're going to expect that you know how to drive and you're safe operators. We don't want any cowboys out there that are going rogue and doing whatever they feel that they want to do. But our trainers will corral you and take their time so you know exactly what you need to do. The training program lasts between a week and 2 weeks. If you extend that past a couple weeks, we're probably looking at having a conversation about maybe a different career path. But it takes about 2 weeks. You're working 10 to 14 hours a day when you're training. Everything's harder when you start. But as you progress and as you learn, things are going to get faster, and you're going to have those aha moments, and you're going to realize, oh, that's exactly what he was talking about. Why didn't I put those two things together? When I came on, I grew up on a farm, so I knew hydraulics and PTOs and things of that nature, and understood how the mechanics of the combination worked. But it's mind-blowing how much information you really need to have downloaded to you the first couple of weeks that you're learning how to drive. And then as you get out on your own, you're going to realize, oh yeah, hey, why didn't I do this before? And this is exactly what our trainer was saying. Our trainers are going to work you through every step of the operation. Once they feel that they've explained everything to you well enough, they're going to start asking you, okay, what are you doing? Tell me step by step what you're doing right now, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and as long as you can explain to your trainer what you're doing and how you're doing it, they're going to sign off on you and say, hey, go make some money. Anybody have any more questions for me? No? There's gotta be something out there.
How many did you guys look for?
We're always looking for safe operators. I can't put a solid number on that because, we have 40 trucks, out there. We've got 38 of them running right now. Matt would say 38, but if I get somebody that's gonna come in and have a better approach or a safer approach, I might free up the truck. Not that, I wanna have to do that, but,
Thank you.
you guys can fight over it.
You should sit in the front.
Do you have any class B vehicles?
Negative. Nope, all class A. Nobody has any more questions? What I had for breakfast, what kind of tires I got on my truck? Nothing? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I have some applications and some business cards and some handouts if you guys want to grab those. If you don't want to ask a question in front of the group, I completely understand. I'll be over here for a couple more minutes. If you need to ask me a question or
Do you guys have any like side dumps or bottom dumps?
negative. Just we do have some hoppers and some flatbeds, but 99.9% of our work is all these frameless end dump trailers. Well, I appreciate you taking. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So a lot of your drivers drive to Duluth or?
Yep, you start and end in Rosemount every day. So,
Right, you just drive?
yep, we'll go up to Lake Superior, to Superior, Wisconsin. We'll offload there. We'll maybe pick up right next door at Hallett Dock number 8, or go up to Evelyn and pick up some ore, bring that down to South St. Paul or down to Red Wing. We'll pick up in Rosemount. We'll go out to Manitowoc, Wisconsin. We'll go out there, drop off at Lake Michigan, have lunch, watching the waves crack the shore, and then drive back to Rosemount, get loaded, and then park it at OCI. We do go down to Davenport, Iowa. We'll load in Rosemount, go down to Davenport, Iowa. We drop off material down there at a lime plant. Then we'll pick up rock across the street, bring that back over to Savage. That's usually a 2-day run. So you pick up the rock, go back to Rosemount, park it for the night. Next morning, fire up your rig, log in, go over to Savage, drop off there, go back to Rosemount or South St. Paul and pick up material, and then go about your day. So, most drivers put on 400 to 600 miles a day. We do local stuff as well. Like I said, we do a lot of road salt. So any municipality around the Twin Cities metro area, western Wisconsin, anything south of St. Cloud and west of St. Cloud is our territory. We go into Hudson here, Baldwin, Ellsworth, all the way up to Hayward, and then over again. So, we get to see the country. We have multiple trucks going into every location every day. So after you're done with training, and you're kind of concerned, I've been to this place, I've been to Manitowoc 3 times, but I still kind of have some questions or whatnot. Chances are there's going to be 8 or 9 other trucks going out there, and you'll fall in with another driver that you get along with and say, hey, we're kind of on the same schedule. You guys want to run together today? I do that all the time on Saturdays. Hey, we're going to run. Last weekend we did the Metropolitan Airport Commission. So Minneapolis St. Paul Airport, we brought all their road salt that they clear their runways with, and the roads around the loop for drop off and pick up and whatnot. We did 900 tons in less than 5 hours, and we did another 700 ton on Saturday up to Anoka County, Andover, to Anoka County. So we go into some neat places that hey, we can watch planes take off while we're unloading our material. That's kind of rad, watch the sunset come up over the runway. So yeah, it's pretty neat. So we have multiple drivers going to the same places every single day, and I like to mix it up. I don't like the same driver hitting the same lane every single day. It gets too monotonous. You get complacent. You're staring at the same billboards. It gets old. And for me, when I was training, the person that was dispatching that was the interim dispatcher for before I took over. She kept sending me to the same place every single day for like 2.5 weeks. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? This is so boring. You know, you get complacent, you know. Hey, you start looking for stuff and, you know, playing little mind games or whatnot, trying to stay aware and alert. And, you know, I don't like to do that to our drivers. You know, you talk to any of our drivers and they'll give you a bunch of shit about me, but I'm a pretty casual guy, as you can tell. You know, I'm not a professional recruiter. I run the operation for OCI and I drive. You know, that's what I do. I'm just like everybody else. I just have different job responsibilities. You know, don't look at myself as any better or worse than anybody that we have working for us. I'm out there doing the same job that they're doing, and I think you know, they respect me for that. So, you know, like I said, if you had things that come up in your life that you wanted to do and you didn't want to work a full day, or you needed to have a half a day for this, that, or the other thing, you know, we work with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. I don't know. There we go.
I thought you were planning some video.